Hi, I'm Kevin Rich. I'm an actor and a director, and currently the associate chair and director of theater at the University of Colorado Boulder. I met George Judy like 10 summers ago, working at the Illinois Shakespeare Festival. We were in the acting company together, and it's summer rep, so I got to see George play three roles at the same time. Three really different roles too. He was the sinister cardinal in The Three Musketeers, and the grieving King Alonso in The Tempest, and the funniest Falstaff I have ever seen. It's the thing I love about summer rep is you get to see the full range of an actor's ability, and that was a pleasure to watch. George and I stayed in touch after that, and he knew that I directed The Importance of Being Earnest not too long ago, and asked me, because you are all working on it, to talk a little bit about the play, which I'm happy to do. I love that play. I first got to take a really deep dive into it when I taught it at Kenyon College. I was teaching a dramatic literature class there on like modern realism. And we were looking at, I think we started with like Camille and ended with Beckett. So this kind of arc that goes through, World War II, and the early plays are all kind of obeying the rules a little more. And then the late plays are breaking them all, and The Importance of Being Earnest, I think, was the second play we looked at in that semester. And it does obey a lot of rules, and it does feel like a lighthearted, I don't know if like frivolous is the right word, but just a fun, light romp. But getting to look at that play and then moving right into Ibsen and Chekhov and then into Beckett, plays that are asking really big questions about like the meaning of life and, who are we and why are we here? You actually see some of that in that play, it seems to me. I mean, like these characters who are distracting themselves and trying not to ask, deeper questions. So I don't know. I see in that play, it's an early example of absurdism, I think. And then I got to direct it a couple years later at the American Shakespeare Center, and I was really excited to like dig into that. I guess first I'll talk a little bit about the American Shakespeare Center. You might know this, so I won't say too much, but they are in Stanton, Virginia. It's one of my favorite companies ever. They operate in the Blackfriars, which is I think the world's only replica of Shakespeare's indoor theater. And so when they stage Shakespeare's plays, they investigate Shakespeare's original staging conditions. They think about the ways in which the play was like designed originally to be performed. And so there's a lot of direct address with the audience, right? The lights don't go out on the audience. It's not a proscenium. And the characters know that they're in a play, and not just the actors, but the characters are interacting with the audience, handing them props, talking to them directly, sitting in their laps, hiding behind them. And so I got to stage Importance of Being Earnest in that way. Even though Wilde did not design the play to be done like that, it works really well in that way. But like before I talk more about that, I just want to say that when I first showed up, like I was really excited to like sort of dig into all the existential questions that I think the play asked, and I talked about that on the first day of rehearsal, and the actors were like all up for it. And also, speaking of rep theater, they were also rehearsing Julius Caesar, so they had that play in their bones. And so like the first run through of that play, like our stumble through, which was only a couple days into the rehearsal process because they work really fast there, it was like the most dramatic, heaviest, version of The Importance of Being Earnest that I think has ever existed. And it totally didn't work, right? And it just kind of goes to show you that like, you can't play a theme or an idea. And really, if there is that kind of subtext in the play, the characters are either not aware of it or really good at avoiding it. So I was like, okay, let's throw that whole thing out and try something completely different. And the actors were really good and they adjusted really fast. And I remember talking a lot about ducks, like how water just like, you know, bounces off a duck's back. These characters are like that, you know. Nothing matters, but not in the nothing matters way, but like nothing matters. And they're really good at just letting things bounce off of them. And then the play totally came to life. And I think all those questions I think are still there, and I still have those thoughts about that play. But that's for the audience to interpret. It's not our job, I think, when staging the play, to necessarily, you know, tell that story. And then once the audience got there, if there was any of that left, it went away completely, because it really does work well when the characters know that they're in a play. Every single one of those characters loved being watched, right? And they played really well to the audience. So it was just an absolute blast to stage that play there. And if I ever did that play again, I would want to investigate that same kind of meta theatricality, because I think it serves the play really well. I'm not sure how I'm doing on time. George said that if I had any time left, I could talk a bit about some projects I'm working on. And I wanted to plug this graduate certificate that I'm working on called Applied Shakespeare. So we offer at CU Boulder a graduate certificate in Applied Shakespeare, which is a 9-credit program where we're really, it's 2 online classes and then 1-week intensive on campus in the summer, where everybody comes to Boulder and we see the shows at the Colorado Shakespeare Festival, which is a part of our university. And like a major focus of the certificate is the application of Shakespeare outside of the commercial realm, and looking at the work that arts practitioners are doing in prisons and with veterans, and, you know, intersecting Shakespeare in a variety of ways with a variety of populations. And that has just been an absolute privilege to get to work on. So if that is a program that interests you, you can Google Applied Shakespeare CU Boulder and certainly reach out to me to learn more. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to seeing your play online. Thanks.